Hello, and welcome back to Dream Room. Here is the most useful thing to know before you spend a single dollar. A small solar fountain does not need wiring, plumbing, or a large backyard. With one compact pump, a waterproof container, and a few stones, you can create moving water in an afternoon for less than $50. That matters if your space is modest. Maybe you have a 6 by 8 foot patio, a narrow side yard, a rented deck, or a balcony where every object must earn its place. You enjoy decorating, but you do not want heavy construction, complicated tools, or a project that takes 3 weekends. You may also have limited storage, a careful budget, or a back that no longer enjoys lifting concrete planters. You prefer natural materials and familiar objects. An old terracotta pot, a shallow bowl, a galvanized tub, bamboo, river stones, reclaimed bricks, or a watering can left unused in the shed. This video is made for you. Today, I will show you 8 DIY solar fountain ideas that actually work. One can be assembled in about 15 minutes. Another hides the pump beneath stones, so the water appears to rise naturally from the ground. We will also turn a thrifted bird bath, a terracotta pot, a metal tub, and even a vintage watering can into peaceful focal points. The secret is choosing a solar pump with a separate panel. Your fountain can sit near a favorite chair, under a porch roof, or beside a home office window, while the panel stays several feet away in direct sunlight. No extension cord across the lawn, no electrician, no monthly power cost. I will also show you how to control splashing, reduce evaporation, conceal cables, keep the pump easy to clean, and make an inexpensive project look thoughtfully designed. Before you buy an expensive fountain, look around your garage, garden corner, or storage shelf. You may already own half of what you need. Subscribe to Dream Room now, because each week we share practical, affordable ideas for creating calmer rooms, smarter small spaces, and more beautiful gardens, with materials that are simple, natural, and easy to use. 1. The Thrifted Bird Bath Bubble Fountain. Let us begin with the easiest project on the list, because your first solar fountain should give you confidence, not frustration. A bird bath bubble fountain can be finished in about 15 minutes. No drilling, no silicone, no plumbing. You need only a shallow waterproof basin, a small solar pump with a separate panel, and 2 or 3 textured stones. You do not need a heavy concrete bird bath. For a narrow patio, balcony, or rented deck, use a wide plant saucer, an unused ceramic bowl, or a thrift store basin set on an upside-down terracotta pot. A container about 16 to 20 inches wide gives the water enough room to fall back inside instead of splashing onto the floor. Place the pump in the center and attach the lowest bubbling nozzle. A tall spray may look dramatic, but in a shallow bowl, it loses water quickly. A soft bubble is quieter, wastes less water, and creates gentle ripples that make an ordinary corner feel alive. Add 1 flat stone beneath the pump if the basin is uneven, then place 2 smaller stones near the edge. They hide the plastic housing, keep the pump stable, and give birds shallow resting places. Keep the bird bath beside your favorite chair, near a bedroom window, or in a partly shaded corner. Place only the separate panel in the sunniest spot within the cord's reach, usually 6 to 10 feet away. Repeat materials already used nearby. Surround a terracotta base with lavender, thyme, sedum, or small ferns. Add 3 reclaimed bricks beneath it. 1 bowl, a few stones, and healthy plants usually look more elegant than too many ornaments. Check the water every few days in summer. Moving water evaporates faster than still water, and the pump should never run dry. Once a week, rinse the intake screen and wipe dust from the solar panel. The project can cost about $20 to $38, and less if you already own the bowl. It is compact enough for a balcony, gentle enough for a reading corner, and simple enough for a beginner. Once you see what moving water can do for an ordinary basin, you will be ready for our next design, a terracotta fountain that looks far more expensive than it really is. Why? 2. The Overflowing Terracotta Pot Fountain. Our second idea is the best choice if you want a fountain that looks warm, rustic, and far more expensive than it really is. The overflowing terracotta pot fountain works beautifully in Mediterranean gardens, cottage patios, farmhouse spaces, and small natural-looking courtyards. An older pot is often better than a perfect new one. Faded color, mineral marks, and a slightly weathered surface give the fountain character. You will need one large terracotta or glazed ceramic pot, a wide waterproof basin, a small solar pump, flexible tubing, river pebbles, and waterproof sealant if the drainage opening needs to be closed. The lower basin acts as the reservoir. Place the pump inside it, connect the flexible tubing, and guide the tube upward through the drainage hole in the terracotta pot. When sunlight reaches the separate solar panel, the pump pushes water through the tube. Water bubbles gently from the top of the pot, flows over the rim, and returns to the basin below. The movement should be soft and controlled. You are not trying to create a tall spray. The beauty comes from seeing a thin layer of water travel across the aged terracotta before disappearing into the stones below. For an easier version, place a smaller pot upside down inside the basin. Use it as a stable support, run the tubing through its existing drainage opening, and position the decorative pot above it. This method reduces drilling and keeps the pump easier to reach. That matters when you need to rinse the intake screen or adjust the tubing later. Before sealing anything, fill the basin and test the water flow. Watch where the water crosses the rim. If it falls outside the lower reservoir, turn the pot slightly or reduce the pump's flow before continuing. Once the direction is correct, arrange smooth river pebbles around the base. They conceal the pump, tubing, and support while creating a clean, finished appearance. Keep the styling simple. Place one taller plant behind the fountain and one trailing plant beside it. Nearby mismatched terracotta pots will make the arrangement feel collected naturally over time rather than purchased as a complete set. Depending on the pot and basin you already own, this fountain should cost about $28 to $48. Construction takes one afternoon, although waterproof sealant must be allowed to cure completely before water is added. This design gives a small patio strong decorative impact without taking up much space. Next, we will hide both the basin and the pump beneath stones to create a fountain that appears to rise naturally from the ground. Way 3. The Hidden Basin Pebble Spring. Our third idea is the best choice if you want a fountain that looks completely natural. Instead of placing a visible pump inside a decorative bowl, this design hides both the pump and the water reservoir beneath a layer of stones. From a few feet away, the water appears to rise directly from the ground like a small spring. You will need a waterproof mixing tub, storage basin, or deep planter. You will also need a strong plastic grid or perforated plant tray, a small solar pump, several flat stones, and enough river pebbles to cover the surface. Begin by placing the pump inside the empty basin. Set it near the center, but keep it close enough to one side that you can reach it later for cleaning. Fill the basin with water, then place the rigid grid across the top. The grid must be strong enough to support the stones without bending into the water. Guide the pump nozzle or flexible tubing through one opening in the grid. Keep the outlet only slightly above the surface. A low stream will create a quiet bubbling sound while reducing splashing and evaporation. Now arrange several flat stones around the outlet. Place the largest stones first, then use smaller river pebbles to hide the grid. When the pump begins operating, water flows across the stones and disappears through the gaps below. The basin collects it and sends it back through the pump continuously. You do not need to bury the reservoir. On a paved patio, rented deck, or balcony, place the basin inside a simple wooden planter box or conceal the sides with potted plants. If lifting heavy stone is difficult, combine a few real rocks with lightweight lava rock or hollow faux stones. You will keep the natural appearance without making the fountain too heavy to move. A weathered branch or small piece of driftwood can be placed beside the stones, but keep the arrangement simple. The moving water should remain the main feature. Most importantly, leave one section removable. Do not glue or permanently cement every stone into place. You must be able to lift the grid, refill the reservoir, and remove the pump when the intake needs cleaning. This project usually costs between $30 and $48 and takes about 45 to 60 minutes to assemble. The hidden basin pebble spring is ideal for anyone who wants the sound of water without seeing the equipment behind it. Next, we will use a galvanized tub to create a simple farmhouse fountain with a larger, more practical water reservoir. Luff 4. The galvanized tub farmhouse fountain. Our fourth idea is a practical choice for anyone who loves farmhouse style and wants a fountain with a larger water reservoir. A small galvanized tub is durable, affordable, and easy to reposition. It works especially well beside a vegetable garden, porch, potting bench, or rustic patio where natural materials and useful objects already shape the space. You will need a galvanized wash tub, enamel basin, or small metal trough. Add a solar pump, several flat stones, and either an upside-down clay pot or a low support to raise the pump slightly above the bottom. Begin by placing the empty tub on a flat, stable surface. Choose the final location before adding water, because even a small container becomes much heavier once it is filled. Set the pump near the center and raise it on a flat stone. This keeps the intake away from loose debris that may settle at the bottom. Attach the low bubbling nozzle. Then arrange a few stones around the pump to hide the plastic housing without blocking the intake screen. Fill the tub until the pump is fully submerged. Place the separate solar panel in the brightest location within the cable's reach, even if the fountain itself remains in partial shade. This is important because metal containers can become very hot under intense summer sun. Keeping the tub in partial shade helps the water stay cooler, while the separate panel can still collect direct sunlight several feet away. The larger reservoir also means you will not need to refill the fountain as often as a shallow bird bath. That makes this design useful for viewers who want moving water but prefer a simple maintenance routine. To soften the industrial appearance, place the tub beside an old wooden chair, reclaimed potting table, or weathered board. Surround it with rosemary, thyme, mint, or flowering containers. You can also place an upside-down terracotta pot near the center and arrange stones around it. This gives the fountain more height while keeping the pump easy to reach. Avoid overcrowding the tub. A small group of flat stones and one clear bubbling point will look calmer and more intentional than too many decorations. Make sure the container has no sharp edges and keep the cable behind nearby planters or furniture. The fountain should never create an obstacle across a walking path. This project usually costs between $25 and $45 and takes about 30 to 45 minutes to assemble. The result is sturdy, simple, and well-suited to real working gardens. Next, we will use bamboo and a visible stream of water to create a fountain with a completely different character. Why? The bamboo spout fountain. Our fifth idea uses a visible stream of water to create a stronger sense of movement. The bamboo spout fountain is simple, natural, and especially suitable for Japanese-inspired, tropical, woodland, or minimalist spaces. It also fits neatly into a small patio or quiet garden corner because the entire project can be built inside one waterproof container. You will need a ceramic bowl or deep waterproof planter, a small solar pump, clear flexible tubing, one thick section of bamboo for the spout, and two smaller bamboo pieces or stones for support. Add a layer of pebbles to cover the bottom and help conceal the pump. Begin by placing the pump inside the container. Keep it near the back or center, where it can remain underwater without being difficult to reach. Attach the flexible tubing to the pump outlet. Guide the tubing through the hollow bamboo section until the end sits close to the opening of the spout. Position the bamboo across the rim of the bowl or support it slightly above the container. The spout should point downward at a gentle angle so the water lands near the center of the basin. When direct sunlight reaches the separate panel, the pump pushes water through the tubing and out through the bamboo. The stream falls back into the container and begins circulating again. There is no need to build a complicated moving bamboo mechanism. A single fixed spout is easier to assemble, more reliable, and still creates the clear sound of falling water. Secure the bamboo with natural twine if needed. You can also hide the support behind a fern, ornamental grass, or taller potted plant. For a calm, balanced appearance, use dark river stones across the bottom of the bowl. The stones will conceal the pump and tubing while creating contrast with the pale bamboo. Keep the falling distance short. A long drop may produce a louder sound, but it also causes more splashing and faster evaporation. The stream should return to the center of the basin without reaching the surrounding floor. Place the fountain near a reading chair, bedroom window, or sheltered patio where the sound can be heard clearly. Avoid positioning the cable across a walkway and place the separate panel in the brightest nearby location. This fountain should cost between $22 and $42, depending on the container and bamboo you already have. Assembly takes approximately 45 to 75 minutes. The finished result is light, compact, and naturally decorative. Next, we will use the same basic pump and tubing system to turn an old watering can into a playful garden fountain. Licks, the vintage watering can fountain. Our sixth idea turns a familiar garden tool into a playful moving water feature. The vintage watering can fountain is especially effective on camera because the transformation is easy to understand. An old watering can appears to pour water continuously, even though there is no hose or outdoor plumbing connected to it. You will need a metal or plastic watering can, a waterproof basin, a small solar pump, clear flexible tubing, and a stable support. Reclaimed bricks, a wooden stake, or the edge of a sturdy planter can hold the watering can at the correct height. Begin by placing the pump inside the lower basin. Attach the flexible tubing to the pump outlet, then guide the tubing upward and into the watering can. Position the end of the tube close to the watering can spout. When sunlight reaches the separate solar panel, the pump sends water through the tubing. The water travels into the can, exits through the spout, and falls back into the basin below. Raise the watering can high enough to create a visible stream, but keep the drop controlled. If the can sits too high, water may splash beyond the reservoir and empty the fountain quickly. Tilt the watering can slightly forward. Test the stream before securing the support, and make sure the water lands near the center of the lower basin. For a simple cottage-style arrangement, place the can on a small stack of reclaimed bricks. A weathered metal can works well with daisies, herbs, and terracotta pots. For a cleaner farmhouse appearance, use a galvanized watering can with a matching wash tub. Position trailing plants around the support to conceal the tubing without blocking access to the pump. The watering can must remain stable, especially when exposed to wind. Use a wide base. Secure the can to a wooden stake if necessary, and keep the fountain away from narrow paths where someone could bump into it. Guide the cable behind planters or furniture so it does not cross the walking area. The solar panel should stay in direct sunlight within the cord's reach, while the basin can remain closer to your seating area. This project generally costs between $20 and $45 when the watering can is reused or purchased secondhand. Assembly takes about 1 hour. The final fountain adds height, movement, and personality without occupying much floor space. Next, we will arrange several bowls at different levels to create a compact cascading fountain. Juice 7. The Stacked Bowl Cascade Fountain. Our seventh idea adds several small waterfalls while using very little floor space. The stacked bowl cascade fountain is a good choice for a narrow patio, balcony, porch, or garden corner, where a wide fountain would feel too large. By arranging containers at different heights, you create movement, sound, and vertical interest inside one compact area. You will need 2 or 3 waterproof bowls or plant saucers in different sizes. You will also need a solar pump, flexible tubing, small decorative pebbles, and stable supports such as terracotta pots, reclaimed bricks, or flat stones. Use the largest bowl as the lower reservoir. It must be wide and deep enough to collect all the water returning from the upper levels. Place the solar pump inside this lower bowl. Attach the flexible tubing and guide it upward toward the smallest bowl at the top of the arrangement. Raise the second bowl on an upside-down terracotta pot, a short stack of bricks, or several stable stones. Position the smallest bowl above it using another support. The bowls should not sit directly above one another. Move each level slightly to one side so the water can spill visibly from the upper bowl into the one below. Guide the tubing into the top bowl. When the solar panel receives direct sunlight, the pump sends water upward. The top bowl fills first, then spills into the middle bowl before returning to the lower reservoir. Tilt each upper bowl only slightly. A small change in angle can determine whether the water lands correctly or flows outside the fountain. Test the complete arrangement before adding pebbles, plants, or decorative objects. Run the pump and watch every spill point for several minutes. Adjust the supports until all the water returns safely to the lower basin. For a natural appearance, use earthy terracotta saucers and smooth river pebbles. For a brighter courtyard, use mismatched glazed ceramic bowls in complementary colors. Whichever style you choose, repeat the same pebbles on every level. This visually connects the separate containers and makes the fountain appear like one complete design. Place the finished fountain near a home office window, porch swing, bedroom, or small outdoor chair where the gentle cascade can be seen and heard. This project usually costs between $25 and $50, especially when the bowls or plant saucers are reused. Assembly takes approximately 1 to 2 hours. The finished design creates several layers of moving water without occupying a large area. Next, we will finish with the most complete idea on the list: a miniature container pond with plants and a gentle solar bubbler. So, 8. The mini container pond with a solar bubbler. Our 8th and final idea creates more than a fountain. It creates a miniature water garden inside a single container. This is the most complete design on the list because it combines moving water, reflections, plants, and the possibility of visiting birds, dragonflies, or other small garden wildlife. It works well on a modest patio, beside a garden chair, or in a quiet corner visible from indoors. You will need a lined half-barrel, waterproof resin planter, large ceramic bowl, or sturdy storage tub hidden inside a decorative surround. Add a solar pump with a gentle bubbling attachment, one upright aquatic plant, one floating or surface covering plant, and several stones or submerged supports. Place the container on a flat, stable surface before filling it. Water becomes heavy quickly, so choose the final location first. Set the pump near the center of the container and attach the lowest bubbling nozzle. A gentle bubble is better than a tall spray because it keeps the water moving without throwing it outside the container or damaging delicate leaves. Create 3 simple visual levels. Place one upright plant toward the back. Add one lower or floating plant across part of the water surface. Then position a stone, branch, or small pot near the front to balance the arrangement. Use submerged bricks or upside-down pots to raise plants to the correct height. The plant crowns should sit at the level recommended for their type, rather than being placed too deeply. Do not cover the entire surface. Leaving part of the water open creates reflection, makes the container feel larger, and allows the gentle movement from the bubbler to remain visible. For a balcony or very small patio, use a waterproof bowl about 12 to 16 inches wide. Place a waterproof mat underneath and raise the container on a stable plant stand if kneeling is uncomfortable. For a larger patio, use a half-barrel or broad resin planter. The larger water volume gives you more room for plants and creates a stronger focal point. Choose aquatic plants that are suitable and permitted in your region. Never release unwanted plants into natural ponds, rivers, or streams. Remove extra growth before it covers the entire surface. Position the separate solar panel in direct sunlight within the cord's reach, while the container itself can remain closer to your seating area. This project should cost between $35 and $50 when you reuse or purchase a discounted container. Assembly takes 1 afternoon. The result is a compact living scene rather than a simple decoration, a peaceful miniature pond designed for the real space you have. Conclusion: 8 simple solar fountains, 1 more peaceful space. You have now seen 8 ways to bring moving water into a small outdoor space without wiring, plumbing, or expensive construction. You can begin with the thrifted bird bath for the fastest result. Choose the terracotta pot for warmth, the pebble spring for a natural look, or the galvanized tub for a practical farmhouse style. The bamboo spout creates a calm, visible stream. The watering can fountain adds personality. The stacked bowls bring several gentle cascades into a narrow corner, while the mini container pond combines water, plants, and reflection in one complete feature. The best project is not always the largest one. It is the fountain that fits your real space, your comfort level, and the materials you already have. Before buying anything, check your garage, shed, balcony, or garden storage. An unused bowl, old planter, shallow basin, watering can, or stack of river stones may already give you the perfect starting point. Keep the design simple. Choose one strong container, hide the pump carefully, control the water flow, and place the separate solar panel where it receives direct sunlight. A small patio does not need to feel unfinished. A narrow garden does not need expensive landscaping. Even one quiet stream of moving water can make a familiar chair, bedroom window, or home office view feel calmer and more inviting. Now tell us in the comments, which of these 8 solar fountains would you build first, and where would you place it? Subscribe to Dream Room and follow the channel for more practical ideas for small gardens, peaceful rooms, affordable decor, and creative home spaces made with simple, natural, easy-to-find materials.